Today, I'm going to be sharing with you some growth updates on all of the Hoyas that I bought within the last year. I have 15 Hoyas on my list today, so grab yourself something cozy, get comfortable, and let's hang out while I talk about some of my girlies. I have unboxing videos for the majority of these plants. We're going to be starting off with the first unboxing, which happened on December 17th, 2024. This was an order from Pubicalyx, which is a Hoya specialized online store in Germany. I absolutely love them. Their plant selection is amazing. And the first plant that we're going to be talking about is probably one of my favorite Hoyas in my entire collection. And that is the Hoya Silver Dollar. This Hoya is everything. She is so beautiful. The coloration on her, the way she grows, the leaf size, it is absolute chef's kiss. And on top of all of that, this is probably one of my easiest Hoyas ever. I received this plant as a fully established 5-leaf plant. However, I chopped it up, I took the top cutting, and I gave the bottom section of the plant to my friend. We basically bought this plant together. Within a year, I've managed to grow this massive thing from just a couple cuttings. And that's why this is at the top of my list when it comes to Hoyas. It lives on my west-facing window that receives a ton of light, a ton of direct sunlight during the summer months, and it has absolutely exploded in growth during the growing season. However, we are in winter right now, so obviously because the sun sets a lot earlier, that west-facing window doesn't receive pretty much any direct sunlight anymore, but I think that's fine. I think she will appreciate the rest period, and I'm sure that once we're back in spring, this thing will explode with new growth and hopefully bloom. But even without the blooms, I freaking love this plant, and I cannot find a single flaw with this plant. This is the Hoya Silver Dollar. Now, the next plant unfortunately gave me nothing but issues. This was another one of those wish list plants, and I was so excited to get it, but growing this thing has been a nightmare. And I'm talking about the Hoya Paradisea. That's right, this is all the growth that we got within a year. I received this as a 5-leaf rooted plant, and unfortunately it dropped a lot of its leaves upon arriving. These 2 leaves that it has at the bottom are still the original leaves that it came with, and I had to chop this thing multiple times because it would just like push out these long runners without a single leaf, and I couldn't for the life of me figure this plant out. Now recently I've actually chopped it again, and I have some cuttings rooting in tree fern fiber, and it did push out this new vine with some leaves on it, but it's just looking not the best, honestly. And it has really long internodal spacing, and I feel like I've seen other people grow this plant as a trailer successfully, and the internodes were a lot shorter. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong with this plant. I don't know if it needs more humidity or more light. It lives in front of my east-facing window, so when there is sun, it gets plenty of direct sunlight, but it's still kind of growing wonky. Maybe I should put it on a trellis. I don't know, perhaps. This plant is just kind of a mystery to me, and I would say that on the whole, I am fairly confident with Hoyas, and I feel like I'm pretty good at growing them, but this one is just kind of stumping me. So if any of you are growing this plant successfully, let me know what you're doing. Obviously, there is something that I'm not doing right with this plant. I haven't seen any pests on this plant, and as you can see, it does have a pretty good root system. I love this plant when it's just healthy and bushy and full, and the blooms on this thing are magnificent, but I can't even grow a couple of leaves, let alone a bloom. So I don't know what will happen with this plant, but hopefully it's just one of those Hoyas that takes a long time to get established, and maybe in the upcoming growing season she will actually explode in growth. Fingers crossed, but as of right now, this is the sorry state of her, the Hoya Paradisea. And the last plant that I got in that order is also another one of my favorites, and that is the Hoya Sulawesiana. These long, dark, beautiful leaves. I talk about this plant constantly because I am in love with it. It is such a good grower. It is a shower. As you can see, she has some amazingly healthy roots. And overall, the way that this plant presents itself, the way all of the leaves face flat, oh, it's stunning. Unfortunately, I don't have any baby leaves right now to show you, but when the baby leaves come in, they are such like a dark, almost burgundy color. And I love the foliage on this plant. However, the blooms, oh my God, the blooms are the true reason why I got this plant. If I ever manage to get blooms on this thing, I will literally perish because the blooms are so beautiful. They're fuzzy, they're furry. I call these blooms the drag queen blooms of the Hoya world because they are just so fabulous. Even if this thing doesn't bloom, I absolutely love it. The foliage itself, the ease of care is more than good enough for me. This is the Hoya Sulawesiana. The next plant unboxing happened in March of 2025, and it was yet another Plantopus order. However, in this order, I actually received two little bonus plants. The first one being the Hoya SP India. I received this plant as a one-leaf, kinda rooted cutting. It had some roots, and I decided to plop this thing into semi-hydro, which is what it's still currently living in, and so far, so good. I would say that she kind of exploded in growth, but hasn't really given me any new leaves recently. However, that being said, I can actually see a tiny little baby leaf poking up at the top. Overall, I'm gonna say this is not like my favorite Hoya. It is kind of like boring and just like basic, dare I say. However, it was free, it was a gift, and it is growing fairly well. And I feel like once it actually fills out this whole trellis, it will look a lot better and a lot fuller. Right now it lives on my east-facing window, as I said, in semi-hydro, and she's doing fine. So I don't have much to say about her. She's kind of in the okay camp, not great, not horrible, but I see the potential. I see the potential with the Hoya SP India. Another gift and another plant that I decided to put into semi-hydro. This is the Hoya SP Vietnam. And this one I received as a two-leafed, kinda rooted cutting. As you will probably be able to tell, she has a lot of this kind of like purpley damage. And I don't know if this is pest damage, if I'm doing something wrong, if this is sun stressing, if this is just the way that this plant looks, I'm not sure. However, it is growing fairly well. Similar story to the India actually. This kind of exploded in growth and hasn't really given me anything ever since. This is a very thick-leafed Hoya, and I find that on the whole, thick-leafed Hoyas are a lot slower to grow. It has really nice splashing on the leaves, but I am kind of wondering if there may be something wrong with it, but the plant itself isn't showing any real signs of stress, so I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna let it be. Sometimes Hoya do this thing where they explode in growth and like grow like crazy for a month or two and then they just go dormant. I don't know why, but this plant is seriously no maintenance at all. It also lives in front of my east-facing window, and the care for it is easy peasy lemon squeezy. This is the Hoya Vietnam. Now, the next plant is the biggest disappointment ever. I am so mad. I'm so mad. I'm beyond pissed. This is the Hoya Yvesrocheri, and this is how much it grew. Nothing. It grew nothing. It didn't do anything. I've had this thing for almost 8 months, 9 months, and it has done jack shit in that time. Absolutely nada. You know what it has done actually? It has lost a leaf. I got this as a 3-leaf cutting, and now it's a 2-leaf cutting, and it hasn't grown nothing. Literally, not even a nubbin of a growth point, and I'm so upset. I don't know why that is. I am keeping this currently in semi-hydro, and I know that it has roots. I know that there are roots in here. The leaves feel extremely thick and healthy, but I just do not understand why this thing isn't growing. It's getting good conditions. It lives in front of my east-facing window. I constantly keep it watered. I don't know what this plant wants from me. Like, what do you want from me? I will give you anything. Just grow. This was one of my biggest wish list plants, and I'm so disappointed. Literally so disappointed. The reason why I wanted this plant is because of Unplanned Parenthood. Charmaine has a gorgeous specimen of this plant, or had. I don't know if she still has this plant, but hers was, oh my God, hers was just a trailing dream of these like elongated little beans. It looked amazing. And that's what I envisioned for my plant to look like. But what do I get? I get a stick. I get a stick with 2 freaking leaves. I am so disappointed. Is it the semi-hydro? Or is it the conditions that I'm giving it? I don't know. I really don't know what to do with this plant. I think I'm just gonna leave it be over the winter months. And once spring, summer hits, if it's still not growing, I will maybe chop it and try growing it in soil. I don't know. I'm really disappointed by this plant. I just want the nice Hoya Yvesrocheri. Is that really that difficult? And this one also has beautiful blooms, but I can't even grow a goddamn leaf on it. Oh my God. The Hoya Yvesrocheri. You're such a disappointment, seriously. But a plant that is absolutely not a disappointment is the Hoya Wilbur Graves Silver. This has been on my wish list for ages. And when I received it, y'all, I was screaming. And you may think to yourself, Matt, this has like no leaves. Has this grown at all? And yes, it has. However, I did chop it. I chopped it for the same friend that I shared the silver dollar with, because we both wanted this plant. I do have some cuttings rooting in tree fern fiber over here, and I think I will be able to pot them up back together soon. I just love this plant. The silver on it is absolutely perfect. This is like the dream silver. It is so minty. It is so beautiful. However, I will say it is quite a slow grower, and that is probably because it has like basically all silver leaves. It does live in front of that same west-facing window though, and it seems to be loving it. And I do see a new little growth point poking out of here, which is so exciting. So hopefully this will start growing again. And my God, once this thing gets big, I won't be able to shut up about it. This is the Hoya Wilbur Graves Silver. The next unboxing that we're going to be talking about happened on May 12th, and I got some really exciting wishlist plants in that order. One of them being the outer variegated Hoya Polyneura. I always wanted this plant, mainly because Wild Fern has a beautiful regular Hoya Polyneura. Seeing her original green one really established my love for this plant. Hoya Polyneura wasn't really available over here. I couldn't find it anywhere. And then the variegated versions started to hit the market. There is the inner variegated version and the outer variegated version. I do believe there is another one currently on the market, but I really wanted the outer one. The outer variegated Hoya Polyneura, in my opinion, is the superior Hoya Polyneura. Nothing wrong with the inner variegated one, but this one, oh, it's so stunning. And it is that beautiful, creamy, sort of like beigey yellow variegation, which I am an absolute sucker for. I received this plant as a unrooted, I believe 4-leaf cutting, and I stuck it into some semi-hydro. It is growing well. It has some roots, as you can see, poking out to the bottom, and I will probably have to repot this plant pretty soon. And it did branch on its own, so this was the original vine and this is the new vine, which is something that I love about Hoyas, how with time and with age they will just start branching and becoming bushy by themselves. And I cannot wait till I have a gorgeous trailing bushy specimen of this plant. The way that these lay, the way that they look is stunning. Right now I have this thing growing in front of my east-facing window, but one day, once this thing sizes up, I will have it here on my little vitio shelf, and it's just gonna look, it's just gonna look so good, so good. Trust and believe. The Hoya Polyneura outer variegated. The next plant is unfortunately another disappointment, and dare I say I was scammed. And that is the Hoya Pubicalyx pink silver ghost. Well, let me tell you, this ain't a pink silver ghost. This is just a splashy Hoya Pubicalyx, and I feel like I just got scammed hardcore. I have a regular Hoya Pubicalyx that I love. It grows like a weed, it's amazing, it's beautiful, and I wanted to add the silver version of the Hoya Pubicalyx because I think the silver Hoya Pubicalyx is stunning. I saw this plant on Hoya Passion. It was quite expensive. I ordered it and I was kind of disappointed. I got this as a 4-leaf cutting, unrooted cutting, and none of the leaves were fully silver. They were just splashy. I think the most silver leaf was this one. This was the most silver leaf, which, okay, I could accept. Like if all of the leaves look like that, fine. It wouldn't be the Hoya Pubicalyx silver, pink, Nova, Ghost, whatever of my dreams, but I would be content with it. But I'm just getting leaves like this. Basically like regular Pubicalyx leaves that are just a little bit splashy. And that is the reason that I haven't ordered from that online shop again. Although they have an amazing selection of Hoyas, their packaging was beautiful, I feel like I was absolutely scammed with this plant because in my opinion, this is just a regular splashy Hoya Pubicalyx. And this plant kind of makes me mad, and I'm kind of thinking of just getting rid of it and like maybe giving it to somebody because just looking at it and the disappointment that I feel in my heart, I can't deal with it. I'm gonna put this thing away. I can't look at it anymore, but yeah, this apparently this should be the Hoya Pubicalyx pink silver ghost, but it is clearly not. And I did try chopping this plant up and rooting some of the cuttings and seeing how it will do and if some of the silver will come back, but to no avail, no silver, just a regular Hoya Pubicalyx. And if it came to me full silver and it reverted in my care, I wouldn't be mad at it. But the fact that I got it already reverted, but I paid the full price for like a silver Nova Ghost, or whatever it's called, is sad to me. Now, unfortunately for the next plant, I don't have any before pictures and I don't have an unboxing because I ordered this on a whim, but if I remember correctly, it definitely was already like an established rooted plant and it probably had, I would say, 6 to 7 leaves. And that is the Hoya Villosa, which is actually a plant that I got because so many of you commented that I would love this plant because it is fuzzy, and y'all were right. I absolutely love this plant. The fuzzy leaves are everything. It's growing well, it's living on my vitio shelf. I love tactile plants, and plants like this just make me incredibly happy. This is the Hoya Villosa. It's getting super freaking dark outside. I think there is a storm coming, woo. But we are on the last unboxing, which happened sometime in August. This was another Platypus order, and this time this was a gift from my friend, the one that I was sharing some of the other Hoyas that we talked about before. She gave me a little Platypus coupon for my birthday, and I got myself some really cute Hoyas. Starting off with the Hoya Bella inner variegated. Now, I am usually not a fan of inner variegated Hoyas. I definitely prefer outer variegated ones. Now, obviously, my plant is still a tiny, tiny little baby, but I see the potential. Once this thing grows up, once it gets long and beautiful and luscious, it's gonna be a showstopper. Now, unfortunately, this plant already went through a bit of a hard time, mainly with spider mites, and I'm pretty sure that they're still here. Either spider mites or flat mites. I don't know what this thing has, but it has some kind of mite that has been causing some havoc on this plant. But honestly, I'm not worried about this. I do believe that the Hoya Bella is a pretty easy Hoya. I'm just not worried. I shower it regularly. I make sure to water it, and that's about it. Not much to talk about for this plant, but the potential is certainly there with the Hoya Bella inner variegated. The next one is gonna be the Hoya Exilis, and this is another one that had a bit of a mite issue. This is a very thin-leafed Hoya, and I find that spider mites and thrips love to attack thin-leafed Hoyas. This is a plant that I received as a 4-leafed little cutting, and it hasn't grown much in the time that I have it, but apparently this is one of Platypus's favorite plants. They say that it's super easy care, that it is a very reliable bloomer. So as of right now, I don't have much to show when it comes to this plant, but hopefully with time, I will be able to grow a beautiful, long, stunning Hoya Exilis. Another Hoya that is absolutely blowing my socks off, and a Hoya that I constantly talk about, is the Hoya Multiflora Wonderphil, which is the silvery, speckly, minty Hoya Multiflora. This plant, I swear to God, this is literally the fastest growing plant in my collection. I received this as a 3-leaf cutting, you guys. What, 3 months ago? Look at the roots. Look at the roots. It is rooted like crazy. It has already grown so much. It is such a fast Hoya. Now, unfortunately, it lived on my IKEA Vitio shelf under Barina lights, which it loved, but I had to move it because it quickly outgrew that space. So right now it does live in front of that west-facing window, but again, because we are in winter, it's not receiving a lot of direct light. However, I know that this thing will explode once we hit spring and summer again, and once that window actually gets some more sunlight. But honestly, I freaking love this plant. Unfortunately, one of the newest leaves did get a little bit dinged, which is sad. However, as you can see, it is actually also working on a little peduncle. And this is one of those Hoyas that has those really cool shooting star blooms, and apparently these Hoyas are pretty easy bloomers as well. So I'm excited, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this thing blooms for me pretty soon. But even if it doesn't, the foliage is still gorgeous, it's stunning, and I'm just amazed at the ease of care when it comes to this plant. If you have been thinking about getting a Hoya Multiflora but just weren't sure about how it's gonna do in your space, just get it, honestly. Get it. It is a beautiful plant, and I know that the Wonderphil in particular is dropping in price severely. So these used to be very expensive, but are now getting more and more affordable. This is a plant that I have already talked about a lot in my other videos, and I'm probably going to continue to talk about it because it definitely is one of my favorites. The Hoya Multiflora Wonderphil. The next plant I received as a mystery gift, again from Plantibus, and it is actually a plant that I wanted, so it turned out to be the perfect gift. And that is the Hoya Insularis, and this one is so cool. They are quite thick and robust. I thought that these leaves would be like super dainty, kind of like linearis leaves, but they do have some structure behind them, but they're just so elongated, so thin, so villainous. It did push out quite a long vine without any leaves though, so I think that I will snip this off and let it reshoot from somewhere else just so we can get a lot more bushy. Ideally, I would love for this thing to be just a trailing massive bush. I know Kevin from Hakuna La Planta has this plant and his is stunning. I mean, all his Hoyas are gorgeous. I don't know how he does it, but I'm really inspired by his plant collection. And if my plants could grow even half as big as his, I would be absolutely happy. And this is one that I am really excited about. It has also really cute blooms, but I'm gonna be honest, this one, I don't really care for the blooms. I really just want the foliage. It adds something really interesting and unique to my collection. The Hoya Insularis. And last but certainly not least, we have the Hoya Subquintuplinervis New Moon. And this is one that I didn't have on my radar. I just saw it on their website and I was like, oh, this is like a cute little Hoya. Let me give it a try. And honestly, it has quickly become one of my favorites. It has such a nice texture. It's not velvety, it's kind of like almost suede. It is gorgeous. And again, going back to the whole outer variegated discussion, I just love Hoyas with a elbow margin. It's stunning. This plant has also pretty thick, robust, large leaves, and it is just a really cool Hoya. It also has really cute, chubby little blooms. But as of right now, I received this as a 3-leaf cutting, I believe, and it has grown 3 new leaves in my care. And similar story as with some of the other Hoyas, it grew extremely fast upon arriving, and now it has been dormant for almost months. And I am a little bit scared because I'm not seeing any roots on the outside of the pot, and I could have sworn that there were some roots. So I am a little bit sus and I'm a little bit scared that I may have rotted this thing. I mean, the leaves still feel amazing. Like they're still very robust, not dehydrated at all. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. Again, we are entering winter and I definitely feel like a lot of my Hoyas just go naturally into dormancy during the winter, especially the ones that rely on natural sunlight. This being one of them. Hopefully come spring, she will wake up and start growing. But I love this cutie. She's just so bubbly and cute and chubby. And I don't know, again, just something very different to the rest of my Hoyas. Anyway, this is the Hoya Subquintuplinervis New Moon. Let me know in the comments if you have any of these plants, how they're doing for you, and if you have any tips for the ones that I'm struggling with. If you did make it to the end of this video, seriously, thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!